Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. We're looking at a 2007, I believe, HRR216 Quadra Cut system. This is the model number from Honda. So we were at 75%. I had gotten 4 units for 40. This was the last one I tackled, this Honda. These other 3 we rectified. We got another Honda standard pusher, a Murray, and the Mangler. I did videos on all these 3 here that are running. The last one we needed to look at was this Honda Quadra Cut. When we first did an assessment of this one, it would like backfire through the carb. It felt like it had no compression. So what I did is pull the tank, emptied that out, a little bit of water in the tank. I went ahead and popped the flywheel just to check the keyway. No issues there. I kind of snooped around. When I had the flywheel off, I cleaned up the contacts of the coil. Didn't see anything out of place there, so I reverted to checking compression. Maybe that's what the first thing I should have done, but I didn't. Anyway, we had the big fat circle for compression, so I was like, ah, shit, this kind of sucks. So I manipulated the overhead valve cover off, spilt a lot of oil in the process, because there's a lot of oil that gets trapped back here under the valve cover. And you got the Honda Bond here on the cover. I should have gotten a tube of Honda Bond. I was at the Honda dealer today, the motorcycle dealer, but you can get it in anybody that sells Honda stuff, motorcycles, lawn equipment. You could probably even get it at the Honda car dealer. Their mechanics use it as well, Honda Bond. So once I took the valve cover off, what I did is just turn the flywheel. Let me get you down here. The exhaust valve was moving back and forth as it should. The intake was stiff and not moving at all. So I removed everything but the valve. I tried moving it by hand, would not move. So we had a stuck valve. I took my 50-50 ratio transmission fluid acetone in my little squirt ball, and I aimed it through the spark plug hole towards the intake valve. Blasted a bunch in there. Then I tipped the engine on its side and I blasted a little bit through the throat of the carburetor to try to get the valve stem saturated. So I took the wrong tool for the wrong job. Grabbed the end of the valve and started twisting it side to side, and then eventually I was able to break the valve free. So we just had a stuck valve. That's what we ended up with as far as no compression. It was just, compression was just shooting past the valve out the throat of the carburetor. So we may be at 100% here once I put all this back together again, drain out some of that 50-50 mix I poured into the cylinder, get rid of that. I kind of dropped the nut on the bowl just to see the condition of the nut. You can often use this as a first indicator, and you see all the white buildup and rust on the nut. So that tells me the bottom of the bowl is full of snot. If it's here on the nut, then the bowl is snotty as well. So we're going to need to do a carb work on this once I button all this back into place. So maybe I can do it one-handed. I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think I can. I would show you how to put this back together again. But it comes off easy. There's just a pin here that lifts up for the rocker arm. That pulls straight up. Your rocker arm comes off. Then you have a keeper here. You can just use a pair of channel locks. I used a smaller pair of channel locks. Just to remove the keeper, there's a slot here that you push the keeper to, and it lets you remove the keeper, and then the spring comes off, and this is what you end up with. Just the end of the valve spring. So that's all goobered up with that rust breaker 50-50 mix. This thing's moving nicely. I can feel the head of the valve in the seat. Doesn't feel like it's grinding. So I think we'll be back in business. Maybe it just stuck in the open position due to it sitting for a long period of time. Moisture got in there. You got a little bit of rust on the valve stem, and that prevented it from moving. Okay, that's where we're at. Wanted to give you an update on the Quadra Cut, and I'm going to get back to work here. I'd be somewhat pleased if we had 100% success rate. Usually, one out of the bunch has catastrophic engine damage, and there's not much you can do. It ends up being a parts machine. I'll be totally happy if this 4 for 40, we get 100% success. So anyway, maybe I'll come back to you later with a final one and show you what this thing does or does not do. But it's going to take a little bit more work. I got to dive into the carb now, and that'll need a good cleaning. And I got a lot of mess here to make, clean up. Got oil all over the concrete. Hazardous material spill on aisle 1. As long as Mr. Snake's overseeing the project, he's going to make sure I do the proper job. As always, tip your waitress and wait staff. They're doing great. They really appreciate those tips. Helps them get through the week, pay the bills, live happily ever after, etc., etc. Have a good day today. You do not want to see this for compression.